They're the matrix numbers. And in these ancient constructions, where they're so fantastic in their mathematical construction, where the same patterns, the same lengths, the same mathematical blueprints appear all over the world in these incredible ancient structures going back thousands of years, and the archaeologists go, oh, well, they're all the same. I wonder why. They knew about this pi and this golden mean and all this other stuff, and these over here also knew about it. Why did they do that? Because, did they go traveling? No. It was the ancient knowledge when we had a global advanced society that filtered down through this now disunited global society. But it was the same knowledge, and they built in the same way because they had the same mathematical knowledge, and they understood the nature of architecture and how you can manipulate energy fields, and how you can create different realities by using numbers and all this stuff. And this is why the Illuminati to this day construct their major cities and focal points with these street plans that I was talking about earlier, because they've retained through the secret society network at the highest level this knowledge, this understanding of how you can use numbers and mathematical patterns to manipulate energy fields and therefore manipulate people who live in those energy fields. Going back to the ancient structures like Stonehenge, they weren't put in that place in that way by accident, but because they had this ancient knowledge passed down. This guy, Leonardo Pisano Fibonacci, he was Italian. He came, centuries ago, he came up with what's become known as the Fibonacci sequence, which basically is, well, it's more than basically, it is. You add the two previous numbers to get the next one. So it's 0 and 1. 1 and 1 equals 2. 2 and 3 equals 5. And this Fibonacci sequence is found all over nature, in the way that plants grow, in the way that shells form, in the features and distances between them in the human face. Because everything in the end can be broken down to mathematics, because it is a mathematical construct, this matrix that we are perceiving as reality. This guy, Stephen Marquardt, an American doctor who really went into the Fibonacci stuff in relation to the human body, he said all life is biology, all biology is physiology, all physiology is chemistry, all chemistry is physics, all physics is math, or maths as we call it in Britain. And he might have added, and all maths is energy. So if you understand, because you've had the knowledge passed through and you've added to it, the mathematical nature, then this is why the Illuminati are obsessed, as so many researchers have established, with number sequences, with doing something on certain days, in certain months, at certain times, which have certain number sequences. They're manipulating the matrix to suit their ends. The other thing is that a biological computer, and they're developing these around the world. I know there's a project in Florida, at the University of Florida, developing biological computers which can think to a certain level themselves. And this body can think. It does have the ability to think. Because it's a computer, it can react. Many of our reactions, our emotional reactions, are not infinite consciousness reacting, they are the computer program reacting. And therefore, I've concluded myself that there are a very large number of people in this world who are not being, they're not being motivated or inspired by consciousness. They are basically biological computers just going through the program. I mean, I've met a few, I have to say. And so in the Matrix movie, you had the woman in the red dress, whereby they created a computer program, for those who have not seen the movie, and these two guys are in the computer program, which looks extremely real, and this woman in the red dress walks past, which takes the guy's fancy, and he later realizes that what had passed him as a beautiful woman was actually just a computer program. But he perceived her as human and like everyone else. And I think there's a lot of people in the world who are so detached from their consciousness that basically they are biological computers passing through what is called life. And the computer is doing the thinking, it's doing the reacting. And they, of course, hold up banners saying peace is war and get a brain, Morans. You know what I mean? They're the kind of people, because consciousness would intervene there and say, don't talk such nonsense. And so for me, there are kind of three basic types of people in the world. There are people who are basically the biological computer operating the reaction process. There are people who are connected to consciousness, but they are so identified with the human body that the computer basically drives the bus, although consciousness can intervene. And then there are the people who are now waking up, and they're becoming multidimensional people, connecting again to the infinite consciousness that they are. And they are perceiving this world from here, while those caught in the illusion are perceiving this world from here. In short, these people are in this world, but not of it. These people are in this world and of it, because that is their level of perception. So, this is why people who are in the mode on the right-hand side are looked upon as crazy and mad and strange by those who are on the middle and on the left, because, not so much on the middle, but definitely on the left, it's because they are perceiving reality from such a different point of perspective that to them that is crazy, because that's what they are programmed to believe and the way they see the world. And so the reaction to me when I started talking about this stuff was mass ridicule. But because of the wake-up, it's changing, because we don't have to stay controlled by the computer. We can make a decision for consciousness to do that. And, and for me, I call them the red dress programs. For me, a lot of these Illuminati bloodlines, if not all of them, are biological computers following a program. And the program's in the DNA. And they're not really in charge of events. The program is in charge of events. And that voice, the female voice in the ayahuasca state, was talking to me about all this and talking about the nature of reality. And it said to me this, because it did most of it by asking rhetorical questions. And it said, if you programmed a computer to abuse a child or kill someone, would it have an emotional reaction or an empathetic connection to the victim of its behavior? No. It's following a computer program. And in so many symbolic ways, these people are so computer-based rather than consciousness-based that they have lost the ability to empathize with the victims of their behavior. Therefore, what would limit our behavior does not limit theirs. So mass slaughter they do not have a problem with when it would cause us mayhem. So all over the world, in different races, not a racial thing at all, there are these people following the computer program, and they're being manipulated to do so and encouraged to do so by the Illuminati hierarchy who understand how all this works. So what is reality? What we're told to believe it is. Through religions. In the end, they may have different philosophies, but only slightly, if that sometimes. But they are selling a belief system, overwhelmingly, the vast majority of them at least, which is saying, this is the prison you need to live in. That if you step out of it, then you are no longer one of us. If you step out of it, then, oh, the devil's coming. And the religions have been used magnificently to keep people in this tiny prison box of perception that stops us getting out there and becoming infinite beings that we are. Simple philosophy, I think, is just my view. If we can give a name to what we believe, we're in a prison. Because infinity has no name. It's the force with no name. It just is. We just are. Once you start saying, I am a this, I am a that, You're already saying, I am a this, I am a that. I am a everything. And somebody said to me the other day, well, you've got to believe in something. Yeah. And you know why you've got to believe in something? Because you can't bring yourself to believe in everything.